reason is we had a lot of people opt in to this season. Okay? We had a lot of people opt in. All right? Coaches, players. That includes family members as well. To disrespect the effort that everyone put forward to make this season a success for the National Football League, to disrespect the game by going out there and not competing for 60 minutes and doing everything you can to help those players win, we will never do that as long as I'm the head coach of the New York Giants.
So, Immaculate Acho, do you agree with Joe Judge's Look at your face. You agree with his criticism? Fix your face.
So, I'm trying my hardest to like Joe Judge. But every now and then he comes out and says something like that. We will not disrespect the National Football League as long as I'm the head coach of the New York Giants.
I loved it.
Giants fans, do me a favor. Please be more like Miami Dolphins fans. Joe Judge, do me a favor. Please be more like Brian Flores. You see, the Miami Dolphins went 10-6 and they missed the playoffs. They missed the playoffs in large part because the Pittsburgh Steelers sat their quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, and their best players on defense, and the Cleveland Browns won that game. You see, had the Cleveland Browns not beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 10-6 Miami Dolphins would have made the playoffs. The 10-6 Miami Dolphins, a team that won 10 games, missed the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Yet and still, Joe Judge's 6-10 Giants are up here complaining about not making the playoffs. When a 6-10 team has never, ever made the playoffs. Have we heard from Brian Flores since about Ben Roethlisberger sitting? We haven't. We heard from Dolphins fans since about T.J. Watt sitting. We haven't yet and still. We hearing Joe Judge at the podium talking about it is disrespectful to sit your starters. Essentially, that is what he is implying. So, Joe Judge and Giants fans, do me a favor. Please be more like them people down in South Beach. I haven't heard nothing from them since. Marcellus, I thought about it this morning.
I'm listening.
I pondered because I posted a little something on Twitter. People started interacting, and I read the comments. America, so you know I read the comments, trolls included. I hear what you have to say. And I thought about this, Sel.
Yeah?
I said, at best, Doug Peterson was trying to get more players' experience than Nate Sudfeld. And at worst, Doug Peterson made a bad coaching decision. Now, the same bad coaching decision that Joe Judge, you made against the Arizona Cardinals when you chose to play Daniel Jones instead of Colt McCoy after Colt McCoy had just gone on the road and beat the Seattle Seahawks for you, Joe Judge. The only team with a winning record that you beat all season, Joe Judge. So, at best, Doug Peterson just made a innocent decision in which he was trying to get other players burned in a meaningless game. And at worst, Doug Peterson made a poor coaching decision. Joe Judge, I've seen you make poor coaching decisions at the same quarterback position just 5 weeks ago. So that's my first lap.
I see it's a lap.
That's my first lap.
Boy, that's a lap.
But Giants fans, please just be more like them people down in South Beach.
Time. Ooh, Acho. Almost a PR right there on that take, boy. Nah, can't push back on you because you are speaking your truth. It's not mapped into reality because the reality of the NFL is more of what Joe Judge is talking about, and that's why I loved his criticism. One, you know me. I love brutal honesty. Like, please give me the raw, uncut dope. I don't like player speak. I don't like coaches speak. I don't like fluffy. So when someone comes up here trying to talk in protection of feelings in a sport that is so brutal that every time we walked onto the field, we had to go somewhere else mentally.
Yes, sir.
And we know that sacrifice it takes. I used to always talk to my basketball NBA friends in jealousy and envy. Because I was like, what do you do game day? They're like, man, we do take a nap and shoot around, go to the mall, take another nap, and then play. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine socializing, having a normal day on game day because of that sacrifice. Joe Judge is talking about that exact same sacrifice. What he said, if you listen to his entire statement, was first, let me own up to what we did.
He did.
And what we did wrong.
He said it real quick.
He's, hey. He knew where the meat was. He knew it would land him on the A block with the same, right? So
that's good.
Joe Judge first said, hey, we had 16 opportunities as the New York Football Giants to handle our business, and we didn't handle our business. So we're not going to make excuses as an organization. Not now, not ever. We had our opportunities. Now, a lot of people didn't even start the tape then. They didn't even hear that part. Or, as you just did, fast forward, blah, blah, blah. What do you really want to say?
Yes, sir.
And what he wanted to say was, I am a coach that is going to protect the shield, as I am employed, as every single player is employed to do. Do you know what that means, Acho?
What's that mean?
That means every player, give me your all. We criticize the Dallas Cowboys for not running to the football in the beginning of the season.
Yes, sir, that's true.
Okay, so guess what, Coach? You can't run to the football because you're not one of the 11 on the field. You're the 12th man. Your job, your employee, to make sure you do all it takes for us to be in the best position so that we can win the game. That move with Nate Sudfeld was a move either for tanking or it was
crazy.
It was a move to create controversy at the quarterback position, because it was not an evaluation move, because you already know what Nate Sudfeld is, or more importantly, what he's not.
So let me get this straight, Marcellus. Let me get this straight. Not just you, but the rest of America.
Oh, you're talking to everybody.
So by putting in a 4-year quarterback who's been previously second-round tendered, by playing this guy, we're disrespecting the shield. Like, imagine if you're Nate Sudfeld. Imagine if you're 6'6", 220 pounds.
Ooh,
you played in the NFL. Your first time playing in the NFL, you set a NFL record for completion percentage in your first career game, going 19 of 23. But now, by playing you, it's disrespecting the shield.
What year was that?
By playing Nate Sudfeld.
Was that?
It was 2017.
Oh,
it was 2017.
18, 19, 20, 21. It was 4 years ago. Hey, bro, just be real. If you're a great evaluator, you can look at somebody that fast and know what they are. If you're not as great, you need to see them in practice for an extended time. If you're not as great, you need to see them in the game. When do you need to see them in week 17 for the fourth quarter?
Think of how offensive what you're saying is. To who? To Nate Sudfeld. Think of how offensive that is. To say that, hey, by you playing, you disrespected the entirety of the NFL, Nate Sudfeld. By taking a snap, not only were you bad, but you disrespected the whole 3 letters of the entire team. Marcellus, that's ludicrous.
Why didn't he start then? Why didn't he start, Emmanuel Acho, since you got all the answers?
Jalen Hurts was drafted in the 2nd round, sir.
Oh, so we drafted at your position because we knew who you were. So why we need to find out week 17 in the fourth quarter? You just fell into a trap.
No, because Jalen Hurts, who was supposed to replace you, last 20 drives.
Get me out of frame. I don't want to hear about 20 drives. I want to hear about the spark that he created.
And let me tell you this.
You're right.
Let me put it to you in everyday life. If I was to say, hey, Marcellus Wiley, can you take me to the airport? And you said, nah.
No,
I'm not going to
hell no.
Hell no, exactly.
Yeah, not
But if I were to ask one of the producers, hey, man, can I get a ride to the airport? And they were to say, yeah, Acho, I got you. Then you know what? Later on, hey, something came up. I can't take you no more.
You ain't going.
Who am I supposed to be more upset at? The producer who at least considered doing it, or Marcellus who off rip said, hell no?
Tell me.
I'm more upset at you. Because you ain't even consider it. So what is my point? What's my point?
You soft.
The Steelers didn't even consider playing their ones. They was just like, hell no, we ain't got no point. The Chiefs, they didn't even consider playing their starters. Hell no, what's the point?
Yeah.
At least Doug Peterson, at least he said, you know what? Let me roll out some of my guys early on.
Yeah.
At least he said, let me roll out Brandon Graham and Darius Slay and Jalen Hurts. At least he considered it. Yet he's getting more backlash than the teams that didn't even consider it. Because the crux of the issue, the nucleus of the issue is very simple. In a meaningless game, I am going to experiment. In a meaningless game, I am going to put in other players at different positions. In meaningless games, we saw the Steelers do it. We saw the Chiefs do it. But for whatever reason,
I got a reason.
When Doug Peterson did it, he disrespected the integrity of the game.
It's not meaningless, first of all. Second of all, stop getting in your feelings. I can't take you to the damn airport, bro. Golly, I gotta say yes. Like,
I'll call it call.
What sense of entitlement did you punch in to say, oh my God, he didn't even consider it. Like, what the hell? I'm not doing something I don't want to do. I don't give a damn what our relationship is. And if our relationship can't stand that no, well, then we ain't got a relationship.
What's your point, Marcellus?
Anyway,
get to your point.
Here's my point. I don't like you right now because you know what? It's amazing how in life you can look at something else and learn something about you in that example. You try to point at Joe Judge and you're really revealing your character as well. Because I didn't know that Acho was a person of a support of the no-snitch culture. You know what this is? This is Acho over here grandstanding because how dare you, Joe Judge, 6-10. How dare you, Joe Judge? Not necessarily a great winning coach yet. How dare you point out a wrong? And that's at the core of what the no-snitch culture is. You see something happen around the neighborhood, and you're sitting there like, I'm about to call the police. Marcellus is my friend. He calls the police. I'm going to call him, too. I'm a watchdog. And then all of a sudden, you start hearing it without even lips moving. Hey, no snitching. Don't say nothing. Joe Judge is supposed to be sitting there now, having to sit on his hands, sit on the truth, because he can't tell what he saw, which was a wrong. Doug Peterson didn't even play his ones. Jalen Hurts is not the number one. You have seen Carson Wentz's demise so much that you don't even respect that he is still the number one because of his contract. Jalen Hurts was in there as a number two. When do you yank a number two in a game in the fourth quarter when you're only down by 3? If it's a competitive spirit, competitive advantage game. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm mad at you right now.
Oh, my God. I must be allergic to nonsense because I got one of those piercing headaches right now because of this nonsense that you're spewing.
Oh, now you pointing. Now you pointing.